Okay guys, so I'm going to work on the review. I'm going to try to go through every single problem, so just fast forward to the areas that you need. Okay, we are finding the area of each figure. So that means that if you go to your reference sheet, I did number it. We should just be focused on the ones that say capital A. So that would be 2. This is Pythagorean theorem, so it's not that one. 2 all the way to number 10. Or 11, actually. Alright, so the first one, this is actually a parallelogram, so that would be number 5. The formula is area equals base times height. When you are doing that, you want to focus on the 90-degree angle, so that'd be here. That means we just care about 3.7 and 10.8. The base would be considered 10.8, so area equals base times height, so that'd be 10.8 times 3.7. And you get 39.96. That's the area. I am going to round to the tens place, not the thousands, just the tens of 1 decimal. So my final answer would be 40 inches squared. Plug it into your calculator, and that's what you should get. Okay, for the second one, number 2, we have a circle. Let me pull up my calculator. Okay, we have a circle. Area of a circle is number 9. We want area, so that'd be with the one with capital A, and it's pi r squared. Okay, so if we go back, we are doing area. Area equals pi r squared. The radius would be half of this, because the whole thing right now is 22. Well, we don't want the diameter, we want the radius, so it'd be 11, pi 11 squared. And you should put that in the calculator, pi 11, and square it. And the answer would be 380.1 meters squared. Okay, we have a triangle. So again, if we go back to our reference sheet, is it 1 or 2? This is Pythagorean theorem, so it's not that. This is area, the one with capital A. So it's 1/2 base times height. So we're going to come back over here. Area equals 1/2 base and height. Again, we want to look at the 90. This is the height, and the base would be the bottom, and it's missing. So we need to find the answer. So, I mean, you can put whatever letter you want. I'll put B for base, but we want to do Pythagorean theorem. So that means we square all of them. We add. We put the plus sign in the 90. So that means we're adding B squared plus 16.5 squared equals 17.3 squared. And then we do our math. 16.5 times 16.5. Or you know what, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to subtract 16.5 squared, and I'm going to subtract 16.5 squared. Now, I type this in the calculator the way it is, like 17.3 squared minus 16.5 squared. And I get B squared equals 27.04. And then last step, square root. So square root 27.04, and the answer would be 5.2. So it means down here, it is 5.2. Now, you're not done. You still have to find the area. So that means that you got to plug it in. So the base is 5.2, and the height is 16.5. So the area is 1/2 base and height. So that'd be 5.2 and 16.5. Plug it into the calculator. 1/2, 5.2. and 16.5. And the answer would be area equals 42.9 feet squared. All right, number 4. That would actually be between 5 and 6, and it is 6. It's a trapezoid. Okay, if you look at 5, these are both parallel. Like if I make this, these lines don't cross, and neither does the top cross with the bottom. But a trapezoid, the difference with the trapezoid is 2 sides don't cross. These sides are not going to cross. But if I make this one longer and I make the right side longer, those are going to cross, okay? So if you look, they're getting closer to the top. So if it keeps going, and then they cross. So that's why it's a trapezoid, because 2 of its sides will intersect if they were longer. So anyways, the formula is 1/2 height base 1 plus base 2. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so for the formula, we're trying to do 1/2 height base 1 plus base 2. Okay, Okay, base 1 and base 2 are the ones that don't cross. So that'd be 7 and 15. So you already know that, hey, one of them is 7 and one of them is 15. The only thing you're missing is the height. The height is not in this picture. It is the one that is perpendicular. That means it makes a 90. So if you make the line coming down, you can make the line wherever you want though. Okay, like if you go over here, that's the height. Or if you draw it over here, that's the height. Or if you draw it over here, that's the height. Sometimes they even draw it on the outside. They go like this, and then they just bring it, like they make it line up. So there's a lot of ways that you can draw it, but the best way for us to draw it, to actually find it, would be if we cut 2 triangles on the edges. So here and here. Okay, now you need to know how the triangle measures. Well, this is 8.5 because it has a tally, and this one has a tally. They're both the same. Now, I need to know, basically, I don't know the height. That's the one I'm missing. That will be, I'll just put H. I need to know the bottom. Can I find the bottom? Yeah, you can. If you know this is 15 and you know this is 7, well, then this is 7 too, right here. This is 7. So 15 take away 7 leaves 8. That means this left side and the right side make 8 together. So if you divide it by 2, they're each 4. Okay, they're each 4. And double check, what's 4 plus 7 plus 4? It's 15, because the whole thing is 15. So it does make sense. So then what we're doing is, our triangle looks like this. 4, H, 8.5. And we have to do Pythagorean theorem. Okay, again, we have a right triangle. So squared, squared, squared. We add these two, so it would be 4 squared plus 8 squared equals 8.5 squared. Again, I am going to subtract 4 squared. I'm going to subtract 4 squared. I got to plug that into the calculator. 8.5 squared minus 4 squared. And that would be H equals 56.25, and then take the square root. And I get H equals 7.5. So if you take the square root right here, you get 7.5. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that the height is 7.5. So now I can scribble this away, and it's 7.5. And this side is 7.5. But anyways, that's the height. That's how tall the trapezoid is. So now you know that this number is 7.5. So now you can plug it into your formula. Area equals 1/2. Height is 7.5. And then base 1 was 7 plus base 2, 15. And now you plug it back into the calculator. 1/2 height, which is 7.5, and 7 plus 15. Don't forget to put a plus. And the answer is 82.5 millimeters squared. Area should always have a squared. All right, number 5 and 6. Number 5 and 6 is these two, 7 and 8. And honestly, they're exactly the same. You can look at the formulas. They are exactly the same. The only difference is this one is an equilateral kite. It just means all the sides are the same. And this one, it's not. It's like short and then long. But the formula is still the same. All you are finding is how long it is from one edge to the other, how long it is from here to here. So that's D2. And then you need to find how tall it is, basically vertically. So that's D1. So that's what you're finding. So let's come back to our worksheet. Okay, how long is it from left to right? Well, they tell you this is 14 and it has a tally. And then there's another tally over here. So it means it's the same. If they put a tally, they're trying to tell you everything with the one tally is 14. So it means from the left all the way to the right, it is 28, because 14 plus 14 is 28. Now, how long is it from the top down vertically? Well, they tell you that this little piece is 4. So how long is this so we can add them? Well, it also has a tally, so it's 14. So if you add it, it means that you get 4 plus 14, which is 18. And that would be what we need. We need those two numbers. Area equals 1/2 D1 times D2. I'm going to erase because I don't have space. Area equals 1/2 D1 times D2. So diagonal 1 times diagonal 2, 1/2, diagonal 1 was 18, diagonal 2 was 28. You plug that into the calculator, and we get 252. And that would be yards squared. All right, number 6. Again, we need to know from top to bottom how long is that, and we know it's 15. Okay, so we know one of them. Now we need to know how long it is from side to side, left to right. So that would be from here all the way to here. Now, how are we going to find that? Well, we see one tally all over. So it means this one is 19.52, and this one's 19.5, and this one's 19.5. And then if you kind of look at the figure, they cut it. So that's trying to tell you that there are 4 triangles right here. There's 4 of them. I'm just going to focus on the top left. Okay, if we know that this part is 15, that means half of it would be 7.5, because 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. And this one is also 7.5. So it just means all the triangles are the same. They have the hypotenuse as 19.5, and then 7.5 is the short side. 19.5 and 7.5. 19.5 and 7.5. 19.5 and 7.5. So they all are exactly the same. So we're going to use, again, Pythagorean theorem. So this is what the triangle looks like. 19.5, 7.5, and we are trying to find this part. So I'll just put x. So Pythagorean theorem means square them all. Add these two sides where the 90 would be. So that would be x squared plus 7.5 squared equals 19.5 squared. Okay, do your math. I'm going to subtract 7.5 squared. I'm going to subtract 7.5 squared. Okay, do not subtract just the numbers. Like, it is not 12 squared. That's not true. Like, you actually need to subtract in the calculator. Like, type the whole thing in. 19.5 minus 7.5. 19.5 squared minus 7.5 squared. And we get 324. And then last step, square root. And we get 18. X equals 18. So it means this side is 18 of the triangle. So if we go back, it means this part is 18. But then you have another triangle that looks exactly the same, so that one's 18. So if you want to know how long it is from left to right, you would do 18 plus 18. 18 plus 18 is 36. So it means the whole thing is 36. So now I'm going to erase. Okay, so now we know the important parts. We know that from left to right, it's 36 because we got 18 and 18. And then from top to bottom, that was 15. So now we can use our formula. Our formula is area equals 1/2 D1 and D2. So that would be 36 and 15. The order doesn't really matter. Okay, 1/2 D1 and D2. And you get 270 centimeters squared. All right, for these, we are still using the area formulas, but just working backwards with them. All right, so find the diameter of a semicircle. So that means you need to use the formula for a semicircle. A semicircle is half a circle. So we're using the area formula, pi r squared, but you need to cut it in half. So area for a semicircle is pi r squared divided by 2. Because a semicircle is half a circle, not a full circle. So you need to divide it by 2. And it says the area is 76.97. So where you see an A, you erase it and you put 76.97. And now you solve for the variable. Well, there's only one variable, r. We're solving for r. Okay, how do I solve for r? We need to move this stuff to the left. Okay, we move the number that's far away from r first. So that would be the 2 on the bottom. And it says divide by 2. So the opposite is to multiply by 2. Okay, these cancel. And the only thing we have left is pi r squared, the numerator. And on the other side, 17.6 or 76.97 times 2 is 153.94. Okay, now what's far from r? Pi. We got to divide by pi because it was multiplying. Divide by pi. And we get 49.000. So I'm just going to leave it as 49 equals r squared. And last step, how do you get rid of squared? That'd be square root. Okay, the square root of 49 is 7. So it means the radius is 7. So if we look at this semicircle, they're trying to tell you that half of it is 7. But the question was find the diameter. Well, the diameter is the whole way across. So it'd be another 7. So 7 plus 7, the diameter is 14. This is the answer. 14 yards. It is not squared because it's not area. This one is squared. That's why it says the word squared. So area equals 76.97 yards squared. That's what they're trying to say. Okay, number 8. A rectangle has an area. Okay, rectangle is length times width. And if it has an area of 104, it means we erase the A and put 104. And then it says the width is 8. So W is 8. So you erase the W and put an 8. Find the perimeter. Okay, well, it means we have a rectangle. The width is 8. If this side is 8, this side is 8. And now we're trying to find how long it is. Okay, so if it's multiplying by 8, the opposite is to divide by 8. So 104 divided by 8. And we get the length is 13. So it means the top is 13 and the bottom is 13. And the question is find the perimeter. Perimeter is how much it is when you add up all the sides. So we're going to add up 8 plus 8 and 13 and 13. And the answer would be 40, whoops, not A. Perimeter equals 42, and that would be centimeters. It is not squared because it's not area. This one is squared because it's area, but that one's not. Okay, find the area of the shaded region. So that means you need to know, okay, well, if you go back to your reference sheet, sorry, this one, guys, you were supposed to use the formula for a rectangle. So you were supposed to use these. You could have used area, and then you could have even used perimeter if you wanted to. All right, anyways, we're on a sector now. So that's number 10. You need to know how many degrees the piece is that you want. The gray section, you multiply by pi squared and divide it by 360. Okay, so here, how many degrees is this gray part? It's 114. So that's the number we're going to use. Area equals the degree times pi r squared divided by 360. Okay, this is the degree, 114. The radius, that means from the middle to the edge, is 8. So we put 8 in there. So it is 114 times pi times 8 squared divided by 360. And you just plug that into the calculator. 114 times pi times 8 squared divided by 360. And we get that the area of that sector is 63.66. So I'm going to put 7 centimeters squared. It is area, so it does go back to squared. Okay, number 10. Find the area of the sector. Okay, they're trying to tell you that this piece is 37 degrees, but we don't want that part. We want this gray section. Okay, that's what we want to know. How many degrees is this gray section? So every time they don't tell you the gray part, you're going to subtract. What do we subtract one from? Well, how much is a whole circle? How many degrees? 360. And we subtract the white area. So we're taking away this white part. 37. 360 minus 37. And we're left with 323 degrees. This is 323 degrees. So now we know how much it is. And then the radius is from the middle to the edge, so that would be 15. Okay, so again, the formula is the degree times pi r squared divided by 360. That's the area of a sector. So now we know that the degree we want is 323 because we want the big gray section. And then the radius is 15. So it would be 323 times pi and then 15 squared divided by 360. 323 times pi times 15 squared divided by 360. And we get 634.2 meters squared. Alright, so that's for the front. Now for the back, we are finding the area of each figure. Again, I'm going to round to the tenths. You can round to the hundreds if you want. Okay, so for this one, it basically means you have two shapes, and then you add them together. Okay, so the shape at the top is a trapezoid. So you would want to use the formula number 6, and then we have a triangle number 2. So we are actually using these two right here. Alright, so let's go back. For a trapezoid, we're using area equals 1/2 height base 1 plus base 2. Okay, again, the bases are the ones that do not cross. So 7 is never going to cross with this 16, even if you make it longer. So that's the base. Base 1 and base 2. And then the height is where there's a 90. So there's a 90 on the side. So that's the height. It means right here, it'd be 9. Or right here, it'd be 9. That's the height. So a good thing for this one is we know everything. The height is 9, base 1 is 7, base 2 is 16. So area equals 1/2 9, 7 plus 16. So the area of the trapezoid, plug it into your calculator, or I'm using decimals on my phone, times 9, and then 7 plus 16. And we get area equals 103.5 meters squared. Now for the second one, the triangle, we need the formula 1/2 base times height. Okay, we do not have a base and a height like together where there's a 90 degree. You don't in the triangle, okay? So what you're going to do is pick, like you can draw the height like this. You're like, oh, this is the height. So the base is 16 and the height is the missing one. Or you can draw it in a different corner. Like you don't have to go that way. You can draw it from here straight up. And it would make a 90. So there you go. I think I'm going to leave it like that. So if this is 16, then half of it would be 8 and 8. This turns into an 8. So basically what we're doing is, we know the top is 8, we know the diagonal is 16, and we're just missing this height. So Pythagorean theorem again, because we have a right triangle, we have a 90-degree box, so we square all of them. We add where the 90 is, so it means we're adding these two. So we get h squared plus 8 squared equals 16 squared. And then we do our math. Subtract 8 squared, subtract 8 squared. 8 squared, h squared equals 16 squared minus 8 squared. So we get 192, and then take the square root. The square root of 192. And I get 13.9 because I rounded it. It was 13.85, so I did 13.9. So it means the height is 13.9. And now you can do it, okay? So again, the base, now don't get confused. We're not using 8 anymore as the base. The base of the triangle is 16 and the height is 13.9. So those are the two numbers that you get to use in the formula because we care about the big triangle now. We did cut it in half to make two small triangles, but we care about the big one. 1/2 base, 16, and height, 13.9. 1/2 base, 16, and height, 13.9. And we get 111.2. And that would be meters squared. Now this is the area of the triangle, and the other one was the area of the trapezoid. This is the trapezoid, and this is the triangle. If we want to know the area of both of them together, then you're going to add them. Okay, you're going to add them. So that's the whole goal, is to add them. So now you're going to add them together to get your final answer. 111.2 plus 103.5. And the final area of the shape is 214.7 meters squared. And it is squared because it's area. All right, for this one, we have semicircle, half a circle, and a triangle. Again, for the circle or the triangle, let's do the triangle first. We need base and height. Okay, which one is the base and the height? Where the 90 is. Here's the base. The height would be the diameter of the semicircle. So we need to use Pythagorean theorem again because we don't know the height. All right, so we square them all. So I'm just going to put x here, squared, squared, squared. We add where the 90 would be. So that would be these two. So it'd be x squared plus 11.9 squared equals 16.9 squared. Okay, plug it into your calculator. Subtract 11.9 squared. Subtract 11.9 squared. Okay, plug it in. 16.9 squared minus 11.9 squared. And we get x squared equals 144. Take the square root. And you get x equals 12. The square root of 144 should be 12. Yep. Okay, so now we know that this side is 12. And that helps us for the triangle. The triangle should be base times height. So the triangle would be 12 times 11.9. And don't forget it is 1/2. So for the area of a triangle, it is 1/2 base times height. Area equals 1/2 base, 11.9, and height, 12. Then we plug it in. 1/2 base and height, 12. 71.4, that's the area of the triangle, feet squared. And now we need to find the area of the semicircle. So look at your formula sheet for where the circle is. It's like one of the last ones, like 10. Pi r squared, that's a circle. Cut it in half because it's half a circle. So make sure you divide by 2 at the end or divide by 2 in the middle, whatever. Okay, radius is only half. So I actually don't want 12, I want 6 because half of 12 is 6. Okay, so pi 6 squared divided by 2. I'm going to plug that in. Pi 6 squared and divided by 2. So we get 56.5 feet squared. This is the area of the semicircle. This is the area of the triangle. Add them together. 56.5 plus 71.4. And we get that the final area of the whole shape, the circle and the triangle, is 127.9 feet squared. All right, find the area of the shaded region. If you're going to find the area of the shaded region, then you need to find the area of the larger one first. Okay, that's a rectangle. It's just length times width. So literally you're just multiplying those two numbers. Area equals length times width. So that'd be 29.8 times 13. I'll plug it in a little bit. Or you know what, let's just do it now. Okay, 29.8 times 13. And we get 387.4. That's the area of the rectangle. But now we need to subtract the white part because we only want the gray part. We just found, basically what we found with our math was the answer to the whole rectangle. Like all of this, if this was gray, it's 387. If it was all gray, that's what we found. But now we need to take away, subtract the white area. We need to subtract the triangle. So we only get left with the gray part. Okay, for the triangle, again, we need base and height. That would be where the 90 is. You already know this number, but you're missing this one. Okay, we're missing that one. So if I draw my triangle again, we are missing this side. We know this side is 28. There's the 90. And then there's this little dash on the bottom. So all I did was literally copy the triangle. But you should know that if the top is 29.8, then the bottom is 29.8 because it was a rectangle. It was coming from a rectangle. So 29.8. Now we square all of them. Squared, 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 because Pythagorean theorem, we have a right triangle. We add these two. So the formula would be x squared plus 28 squared equals 29.8 squared. And then we solve for x. We're going to subtract 28 squared. We're going to subtract 28 squared. Okay, plug it into your calculator. 29.8 squared minus 28 squared. We get x squared equals 104.04. Last step, square root. 104.4. And we get 10.2. Okay, it means that this side right here is 10.2, or right here 10.2. Now why we need that is because a triangle is base times height. So for a triangle, we need 1/2 base times height. Base and height are where the 90 is, so now we know it's 10.2, 1/2, 10.2, and 28. Okay, so we need this side and this side of the triangle. Now we plug it in. 1/2, 10.2, and 28. And we get 142.8. That's the area of the triangle, feet squared. And now we are not adding them like we did in the last ones. We are subtracting them because now we only want the gray part. So you're going to take the area of the rectangle and subtract the area of the white triangle. So you're just left with the gray section. So 387.4 minus 142.8. And the final answer, if you subtract them, is 244.6. That'd be feet squared because it's area. All right. Number 14. Okay, for 14, you need to find first the area of the larger shape. So that would be this parallelogram. And it's going to help us find the whole thing. Like it's helping us find everything on the inside. All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. All right, so for a parallelogram, you need the base. So I want to know how long this side is. And then the height. Okay, well, I can tell that this is 23. And then this side is 12 because it has a tally. Everything with one tally is 12. So 23 plus 12 is 35. If this is 35, then it'll be 35 right here, and it'll be 35 on the bottom, and it's going to be 35 in the middle and 35 at the top because it doesn't change its size like anywhere you cut it. It's still 35. Now, for the height, if this is my base, which is 35, the height is the one that makes a 90. So that actually would be coming from right here. It would hit it at a 90 because it hits at a 90 at the top. Okay, so if this is 12 and this is 12, it means the whole thing from top to down is 24. 12 plus 12, 24. And now we can find the area of the parallelogram. Area of the parallelogram is just base times height. So that'd be 35 times 24. 35 times 24. And we get 840. So that's the parallelogram. That's like the square kind of. And now we need to find the area of the kite. Okay, for the kite, I'm going to erase all this stuff. For the kite, we need to know how long it is from here to here. And again, that's 35. And top to bottom, 12. 12 and 12. 12 plus 12, so 24. It's actually the same numbers, but a kite has a different formula. It's 1/2 base times height. Well, 1/2 D1 times D2. Diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So it's 1/2 35 because you need to add 23 plus 12. And then 12 plus 12, so coming down, 12 plus 12 is 24. So it's very similar. Whoops. So it should be half of 840, which should be like 420. So the area is 420 for the kite, feet squared. And again, we subtract 840 minus 420, and it should leave us with 420. And that's the answer for just the gray sections. For the rest of them, honestly, they're exactly the same. So they're exactly the same. All right, so we have to find the area of the semicircle and the area of the triangle. So the area of the triangle, here's where your 90 goes. It would be 9 times 21.6. Area of the triangle is 1/2 9 times 21.6. You plug that in so you know how big the triangle is. And we get 97.2 meters squared. So that's the triangle. Now for the half circle, we need the radius. I need to know how long it is from here to here, or on the right side, whichever side we find. The only way you can do that is with Pythagorean theorem. So it's kind of like we're using the triangle. It says 9, 21.6, and then it's blank. We're using it to find this side. So we square all of them. We add where the 90 is, so that means you're adding 9 and 21.6. Okay, put this in the calculator with the plus sign in the middle. 9 squared plus 21.6 squared, and it equals 547.56, and then take the square root. Square root 547.56, and we get x equals 23.4. That means this side of the triangle is 23.4. That means the whole thing is 23.4, but I don't want the whole thing, I want half. So divide that by 2. 23.4 divided by 2, and we get 11.7. And why does that help me? Because now I care about the semicircle. The semicircle, I just need the radius. So now we know that half of it is 11.7, and we can do pi r squared divided by 2. Make sure you cut it in half because it's half a circle, not a full circle. And the radius goes right there. So it'd be pi 11.7 squared divided by 2. And that would be the formula for the semicircle. Pi 11.7 squared and divided by 2. And we get the area of the semicircle is 215.02. So I'll leave it at 0, and that's meters squared. And again, now you are subtracting. Okay, you subtract the big area, so that'd be the circle. We take the half circle, so that'd be this one, minus the white part, the triangle, that'd be this one. So 215.0, or nothing, minus 97.2. And I get 117.8 meters squared. All right, for number 10, the big shape is a trapezoid. Okay, you can tell because the top and the bottom are not going to cross, but the left and the right would cross. They would cross if you made them bigger. So that's a trapezoid. Okay, for a trapezoid, we need the base, so that'd be 17 and 37, but we also need the height. I need to know how long this side is. Okay, that's the one with the 90. So we are going to use Pythagorean theorem. I am actually going to cut it over here because this size is the same as this size, right? They're the same. They're the same size. But I can do math on the triangle. Okay. If the bottom is 37 and this part is 17, because if this is 17, then the bottom's 17, then 37 take away 17 is 20. So that means that this part is 20 of the triangle. And now you can do your math. If the bottom is 20, the diagonal is 25, and we're missing this part, that's where x goes. Now square them all. Put the plus sign in the 90, add those, so it's x squared plus 20 squared equals 25 squared. Okay, I'm going to subtract 20 squared. 25 squared minus 20 squared. And we get 225. Last step, square root. And we get x equals 15. So it means that this side is 15. So it means this is 15. So it means this is 15 too. So the height of the trapezoid is 15. Okay, so for the formula of the trapezoid, area equals 1/2 height b1 plus b2. And you should be looking at your reference sheet. That would be, again, number 6. Okay, the height is 15. Base 1 could be 17. Base 2 is 37. So area equals 1/2 height 15. Base 1, 17 plus 37. And we just plug it in. 15, 17 plus 37. And I get 405 degrees. No, 405, sorry. 405 inches squared. Okay, 405. Let me see, 17 times 15. Oh. Yep, 405. So we get 405, and that's for the whole shape. Okay, that's the whole shape. But now you need to subtract the circle, the white part. We need to subtract this part. So for a circle, we only want the radius. So we actually don't care about the 15. We care about half of it. So half of 15 is 7.5. Divided by 2, you'll know that the radius is half. So for the semicircle, area equals pi r squared. That's a full circle divided by 2 because it's only half a circle. And the radius is 7.5. So the formula would be pi 7.5 squared and divided by 2. And on the bottom, a 2. So we get area equals 88.4 inches squared. And now we subtract. We subtract 405 minus 88.4. 405 minus 88.4. And for the final answer, I get 316.6 inches squared. Okay, last problem. So there you go. Okay, last problem. We have a rectangle. So first find the area of the rectangle. You just need the length and the width. Sadly, we do not have the height or the length, whatever. We only have one side. If we look at our math, we only know that this part is 24, but they actually don't tell you the left or the right. So we need to find it, Pythagorean theorem. All right, so I am going to cut it straight down. If you can find the answer to this part, which we need for the kite anyways, it's the same answer on this side. They're the same. They're exactly the same. Okay, I'm also going to slice it across. The reason I'm doing that is because now we have two triangles. Okay, you have this triangle. It's a right triangle. And we also have little ones on the bottom. Okay, so let me draw the one on the top. Oops. Okay, the top one. We know the diagonal because this 37 is pointing to this side, the diagonal. So we know it's 37. The right angle would be right here. And then we also know that, hey, if the whole thing is 24, that means this whole thing is 24, and we just cut in half, it would make it 12. So I know if this is 24, this is 24. But if I cut it in half into two triangles, it's 12. So now we are finding this side. Okay, square them all. Add where the 90 is. So the equation is x squared plus 12 squared equals 37 squared. Do your math, subtract 12 squared. Plug it in. 37 squared minus 12 squared. And we get 1,225. Square root 1,225. X equals 35. So this side is 35. So now we know that from here all the way till where the red stops, that is 35. Okay, so now we're just missing a little part, the bottom part. So now we're going to draw the light blue triangle. Okay, the light blue triangle is this one right here. We know that the diagonal has a tally and it says 15. So that means that this side is 15. Because that's the one with the tally. It looks like this. And again, we know that this is 24, so this is 24. But when you cut it in half, it turns to 12. So the top part is 12, and this part we're missing. So again, Pythagorean theorem. Add these two, x squared plus 12 squared equals 15 squared. Okay, subtract 12 squared, subtract 12 squared. So plug it into your calculator. 15 squared minus 12 squared. And we get equals 81 square root, and we get x equals 9. So now we know that this side is 9. So it means right here is 9. So if you want to know how long it is from top to bottom, you would add 35 and 9. 35 plus 9 is 44. So it means from the top all the way down to the bottom is 44. So now we can find the area of just the rectangle. Okay, the rectangle has 44 and 24. So the area of a rectangle is just length times width. Like you just multiply both of them. So 44 times 24. 44 times 24. And we get 1,056. That's the area of the rectangle. Now we need to subtract the kite, the area of the kite. Okay, for the kite, we already found all our numbers, luckily. Okay, the kite, the only parts you really care about are how long it is from top to bottom, which we found is 44 because it's the middle. It's from top to bottom. And then we care about left to right. And we know that's 24 because we know that the bottom is 24. So actually it's the same numbers. This is 44 and this is 24. So from top to bottom is 44 and from left to right it's 24. But the formula for a kite is 1/2 d1 times d2. So it's 1/2 44 times 24. And we get 528. And then at the end you subtract them, which it should just be the same answer. 1056 minus 528, and you get 528. So the answer is 528. Okay, when you subtract this one, the area of the rectangle minus the area of the kite, because you want the rectangle minus the white part. And we get 528 millimeters squared. And that's the review for day 1. I'll leave it there for a second, pausing it so you can check your answers.